Well, it was another massive Prime Day for Amazon, and as more businesses expand into the digital world, there's going to be a need for space to store all of that stuff, distribute it, and I can tell you right now, it's leading to a monster boom in warehouse real estate. The question, though, is how can you use that boom to make yourself some money? Joining me on that, Point View Wealth Management President, Chief Investment Strategist, David Dietze. All right, David, I got to tell you, warehouse and storage, that's one of the few sectors in the economy where there are actually more jobs now than at the beginning of the year. In fact, we've doubled the amount of jobs in that space just in the last decade. I think part of the reason, of course, we see the transportation stocks at an all-time high. Let's talk about the investment opportunities here. What do you like?
Yeah, absolutely, Charles. I couldn't agree with you more. I love REITs now because this is one of the few areas that they don't pay tax at the entity level. To the extent we're worried about higher corporate taxes, REITs might be your answer. But to drill down into the best performing area of the real estate space, that is that warehouse and storage area. Why is that? Because retailers, obviously you've got your Amazons and so forth, but all retailers now need to have basically staging space. Where are they going to hold all the goods that they hope to ship via the huge booms that we're seeing from the pandemic and as people are moving to online shopping? And so that space is going through the roof. And so I definitely think that this is a long-term trend that people want to get involved as people increasingly do all their buying online.
So it's interesting because real estate has been the number one performing sector in the market today. There's a couple of names in that space you like. I think Prologis is one.
Yeah, absolutely. So Prologis is the number one player in the area. And as Jack Welch used to tell us, you want to be number one or number two in any endeavor you're doing. They've got the space so that, a national retailer can come to them and in one contract arrange for space all across the country. That gives them a huge advantage. Is there any fly in the ointment here? Well, it is up 80% since March 23rd. So obviously some of the good news has been priced in. But as we both know, these trends that are being accelerated during the pandemic are going to have a long-lasting tailwind. Right. And of course, you are still going to get a 2.3% dividend, which is greater than the S&P 500.
Yeah, I agree with you 1,000%. This, the need for these retailers to get stuff to us the same day, it's just they got to build them up, and they're going to build them up. Let's talk about today's session because, believe it or not, we opened down really, it looked like it was going to be an ugly day. Parts of yesterday looked like it was going to be ugly, and parts of Tuesday looked like it was going to be ugly. And so we do find buyers right at the cusp of when it looks like these markets are going to fall apart. But we got more winning sectors than losing sectors. There's a cautionary part to it. Utilities, real estate, consumer staples always do pretty well when we're nervous. But what do you make of the fact that it's the communication service names, it's the technology names that are getting hit hardest? In fact, communication service, the worst performer, led by Facebook, which is getting drubbing today.
Well, sometimes what has had a moonshot ride up, after a while, it has to take a pause. There's going to be some profit taking. And we're talking about, our FANGs plus Microsoft have more than doubled in some cases. Of course, we heard some disappointing news in the cloud front. One of the companies did some less business with the parent of TikTok. They lost 30%. And so there's just a little bit of caution there. But what we're seeing in the rest of the market, there's some great yields, great valuations, and people are gravitating there because, of course, there's no yield in bonds anymore.
Right. Well, I got to tell you, though, I have been impressed with the way the market holds the last 72 hours. It's clear to me, David, that it needs a catalyst. It's not ready to fall apart, but we are looking for a catalyst. Maybe we'll find out what it is. Could be earnings. We'll find out. David, always appreciate your insight. You gave us a lot. People, I hope you took that down. PLD is a symbol for Prologis.